How you doing, everybody? Thanks for joining us today for another Rollin Over the Hill right here on the Live to Roll channel. And thanks to all of you for being part of the Live to Roll family. Before we get started, let's thank our sponsors, mobility professionals and urology professionals. They're very good at what they do, and that is providing the best in a variety of durable medical equipment and urology supplies, along with excellent customer service. So if you are in need of a wheelchair, rehab equipment, or catheters, give them a call or check them out on the line. On today's show, we'll be talking with Larry Singer. We'll have a conversation about his life, so please include your questions, comments, and views in the chat, and don't forget to hit that like button. Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Soto. I'm a T12 spinal cord injury from a motorcycle racing accident 52 years ago. Let's get rolling and get things started here, and welcome my co-hosts, Chad, Paul, and Bobby. What's up, Chad?
Hello, everyone. Good. Having a good day. Good week. It's good to be here. I'm Chad Dismuke, C56 quadriplegic. Broke my neck in a diving accident 30 years ago. And yeah, it's nice to be here. Thanks for having me. What's up, Paul?
Hey, good to see you guys. Good to be here, guys. Yeah, it's been a week here. I've wrecked my back. I don't know what I did to my back, but it's very painful, causing a little bit of AD these days, but we'll get through it. 40 plus years in a chair, C56 quad, living my best life. Bobby, your turn.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition. I'm Bobby Rohan, C5, C6, quadriplegic of 37 years, and beautiful day here in Southern California. So can't complain. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful day like we are. But enough about us four yahoos. We got a fun, interesting. Met this gentleman when I first moved to Orange County. Saw his name on a billboard. I think it was at Mobility. No, where was it? At one of the van places. So I called him up and we had lunch, and still get to know Larry. We're both kicking after these many years. Take it away, Larry Singer. Welcome.
It was Ability Center in Stanton. Can you hear me? Am I cool?
There you go. Mm-hmm. That's
okay.
Right. Yeah.
It was Ability Center in Stanton, who's now they merged into that other one.
Yeah, that's why I was like Mobility, whatever.
Yeah,
United Access.
Access now.
Yeah.
And it was Terry Barton, and they were awesome. And what you saw was I had sent them a thank you letter because they attended my graduation from my doctorate, and it was just a thank you letter. And I had my contact info on there, and Bobby saw my contact info and said, "Wow, this guy sounds cool," or maybe, I don't know, whatever. And he wrote to me, just kind of out of the blue. And we got together, and we went to Panera. And people wanted to totally help us because there were two disabled people together. And oh my God, what do we do? But we were cool, man.
We survived.
And we've been
How
friends
long
since.
ago was
yeah,
that?
that was cool. Yeah.
Oh man.
So it was 2002 that I graduated. So it was probably 2002. Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere. That's when. Because I had just moved down to Orange County, so I figured, well, he's got to be local, so I might as well give him a call, meet somebody here, and it was Larry.
Yeah, I pretty much lived at Ability Center for about a year, and actually they were going to give me a job. They were going to like print up my own little placard or something, because I was just there so many times with my vehicle. It was a piece of junk. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was just in the shop so many times. Somebody's getting a lot of feedback. Is it me?
It might be you, because I'm not getting it. Are you guys getting it?
Okay.
I'm
I'm
not
not getting
getting
it.
it.
No, it
Okay.
might be on
Well,
your. It could be because your headset. Who knows?
uh,
One of those things. So
okay.
tell us a little bit about yourself, Larry.
I'm a I'm a C56 quad. It depends on who you ask. When I was injured, they said that I was C456, although um, then I was told that you don't do three, you just do two or whatever. So the C56 or C5 or whatever. Um, I'm injured from the chest down. No use of my hands. No use of my fingers. These are my there. These are my fingers right there. I can't use my
Mhm.
fingers. I see a lot of other quads using their fingers, and I'm like, and they say, "Oh, I got no use of my hands." Yeah, I got zero use of these things. And
With you.
no feeling from my chest down. Um, I was injured in a hit and run automobile accident in '88, and unidentified driver hit us going about 90 miles an hour on the rear of the driver's side, and left me for dead. I was a passenger, seatbelt punctured both my lungs, and it happened 3 miles away from home. You know, they say that most accidents happen close to home, and I was
Yeah.
immediately taken to Mission Community Hospital because that was the closest trauma center that they had at the time, and they thought I was dead when I got to the hospital. Breathing about three breaths a minute when the ambulance came. Lost almost all my blood. I had to have 67 blood transfusions. Um, Immediately knocked unconscious. No, it's not higher than C56. It's C5. Trust me. I'm looking at the comments. Um, I got use of my arms somewhat. Thank goodness. I mean, that's like my saving grace is that I have use of my arm, and I'm not hooked up to a ventilator. Um, but it was pretty
Yeah.
tough, man. I was 2 years through my bachelor's program at UCI when it happened. It happened over the summer, and it was like a couple weeks before school was supposed to start. So I had to take a year off of school, and I got back in afterwards. And they didn't think I'd be able to return back to school. They didn't think that it's going to be really tough. School's going to be really hard. Um, I did suffer a brain injury. It was open head injury, and they sealed that up. And there were the typical memory function and all that were impaired at the time. But I made it, and
So
I've had 37 years of I've experienced pretty much everything.
so
How old were you?
go ahead.
I was 19 years old. 19 years old at the time.
Mm.
Born in '68, and yeah, I finished. So after I got out of the hospital, I finished off my bachelor's degree. Then I got my master's degree, and then after that, I got my doctorate. And there's been every stumbling block along the way,
And
Mhm.
and
and
in what way? And with your health
uh,
or
bladder bladder infections, pressure sores, problems with caregivers, automobile accidents, waiting for buses. I don't know, you name it, man.
Mhm.
but you're
Yeah.
still here.
Bowel accidents when I'm sitting in the middle of a class.
Oh,
Dude, I've had it all,
Yeah.
man. I was wearing condom catheters for the first, I don't know how many years. I finally got my suprapubic back in 2024. 2024.
oh, just
Otherwise, I was on condom catheters, and initially I was being intermittent catheterization every 4 hours or whatever.
Had to have
And
somebody come in and help you do that.
Well, it was so for the first few years it was my mom solely, and then eventually I weaned myself off of that, even though the doctor said, "Oh no, don't do that." But my body was voiding on its own, ergo I had to wear the condom catheters during the day, and um, wean myself off of that, and then it was just every now and then when I needed to. But yeah, dude, there's been practically every single stumbling block that
Mm-hmm.
could happen, and I mean, I had a pressure sore back in 2000, and I had finished all my classwork for my doctorate, and I just had yet my dissertation to write, and I got a pressure sore, and then I was stuck in the hospital for 3 months, and then I was recovering for 5 months after that at home, and so that kind of set me back a while.
Good to be alive. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so
Yeah.
now,
And
37 years later, how is your health?
every day I'm happy to be here,
There you
just
Yep.
go.
doing,
We
taking
all
my
are. We all are.
vitamins,
Yeah.
eating right, drinking right, living to the best of my ability, enjoying life. I was at a concert the other night, and then over the weekend, my wife and I went to a performance up in LA, and then the weekend before that, we went to a couple concerts, or actually went to a movie, and then we went to a concert after that. And just I work a job, part-time job at the library. It's great. After I got my doctorate, years later, in 2021, I started back getting a master's degree in library science because I work at the library, and ended up getting that in when I get it, 2024.
What is your doctorate in, Larry?
Doctorate's in clinical psychology. I thought I would, I don't know what I was going to do with it. I've never,
What?
I've worked in the counseling field, we'll say, and currently my job at the library, um, I'm a librarian associate, and I work in the team program. So I'm doing like life skills and professional development kind of trainings with them.
Mm-hmm.
What
They
was
call me
that?
Dr. Larry, and that's what's cool.
There you go, Doc. Was that
I get
something you
I get to
wanted to
use the
do
doctor.
before your injury, or did it come after that to get that type of
Okay,
doctor?
okay. So, when I was in high school and preparing to go to UCI, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was in drama in high school, and I loved that. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be in drama, but I'm gonna be an actor. And then my mom had told me, oh, you should go to medical school. You can make a lot of money. I'm like, oh, okay, sure. Keep a Jewish mother happy. And so when I applied for UCI, they didn't accept me at first. They kind of like put me on hold until they had all the students that they wanted to admit first. And then I got the sloppy seconds, and they said, oh, okay, you can come on in. And I went in undecided. And then, yeah, I am a tough SOB. Uh, and then I uh, I switched to biological sciences because I had a girlfriend at the time. We started going out in high school, and then we were going to UCI together. And this is the stupidest reason to pick a major. Oh, how fun! We'll be able to take classes together. And so in
I'm just
my
gonna pause you there for a minute, Larry. That's I work as an academic advisor at the university, and I hear that reason all the time.
right,
But
right.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, my friends are in, yeah, and
yeah.
I'm working with teens, and a lot of teens say, oh yeah, my friends are doing this, so I'm gonna do this. Like, come on, guys, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no.
All the time.
Yeah, so in my freshman year, I was like kind of like thinking, oh, okay, I'll get into biological sciences. Oh, my girlfriend's taking calculus. I'll take calculus. Oh my God, that killed me. And
Yeah.
then in my sophomore year, I was officially switched into biological sciences, and I was taking chemistry lab, physics lab, a biological sciences class, an elective, and then maybe another class, maybe another elective, or I started volunteering at the radio station, and that's where my passion was, in the radio. I like totally wanted to get in the radio, and I started volunteering at the radio station, and I spent a lot of time there, and I was working two part-time jobs. So my grades, of course, kind of suffered. I got really crappy grades in all those classes. Um, my GPA was weighing down, and I wasn't going to get into medical school. But guess what? I got an A+ in psychology. So I'm like, that's cool. Let me get into psychology. So I had the change of major request form all filled out when before the accident happened. I was taking two psychology summer school classes, but again, not really paying attention very much over the summer because I was working jobs, I was having fun. Girlfriend and I had broken up, so I was like, having fun with my friends and whatnot. And the first class I did okay. The second class I was kind of failing, and then the accident happened before I had a chance to finish that class. But I was thinking of switching to psychology, so when I went back in, I switched to psychology. Um, I was kind of against it at first because I thought I don't want to be a counselor because all a counselor needs to do is sit down and talk to people, and I don't want to do the obvious. I want to do something hard. But eventually, I kind of just wised up, and I said to myself, you know what? You overcame this really traumatic situation. You came through okay, and you can use that information to help people. Because when I got to when I was in Mission Community Hospital, I was really messed up. I mean, I was just completely out of it. And I've got stuff on my website. I'll send you a link, and you can check it out. Like I've got like audio tapes of me like just like with my head injury, just saying the weirdest crap. And when I got to so I rehabbed at Casa Colina, and when I got there, I had smiles on my face and everything. They thought I was in denial because nobody could suffer such a traumatic injury and yet be so happy. And I was just glad to be alive, dudes. I mean, I'm sure you guys feel the same way, right? You're just glad to be alive. I mean, I should have died that night. And the fact that I didn't, told me something that, maybe you're here for a reason or whatever else. But and so I figured that, I can use that to help people. And actually so I don't know if anybody's familiar with Casa Colina. I mean, I'm sure that some of your viewers are. From late 80s and early 90s, Dr. Medorsky was there. And when I came in, she said, "Oh my God, this guy's in denial. We got to set him up with a psychologist." And they tried setting me up with a psychologist to break through my denial. And turns out that insurance wouldn't pay for a psychologist, so I had to go to somebody with a master's degree. Or no, actually, yeah, that's what it was. I was gonna go see they had Melanie Fishwick there. She was actually a quad herself, and she was a master's level counselor, and yet the insurance wouldn't pay for the master's. They would only pay for a psychologist, so I had to see the psychologist there, and we just like shot the breeze for the hour that we were there. I mean, I really had nothing to talk about. He didn't break through my denial because I was okay. Right. And actually, when I was like leaving, they said, "You know what? We were kind of wrong about you. We understand who you are." And
no, and Larry, I think I sort of get it. I had to go through that the same way with telling people like, listen, does this suck? Heck yeah. Nobody wants to have this a life alternate change. do I like to, to think that I might not walk again? No. But heck, I'm still alive. I'm young. I don't know. Things will fall into place, and somewhere along the lines, I'll finish school. I'll get a job, maybe get married, maybe have a house. I don't know, but what
Hmm.
am I going to sit here and cry about it all day? No, I don't like it, but do we like it? There's a lot of things in life we don't like, and um, they were they were like, you need to feel something here,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, you know,
I'm going through all the feels, man. I'm going through all the feels, and I'm trying to like, the thing is that people say, people would see me, and they still do it, and they say, "Oh my God, you're so well adjusted," and it's like, before my injury, I was the same person, and people could care less about me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They care less about me, and then finally, when I'm in the chair, they focus on me and they notice me now and everything about me. And they see me all smiles and happiness and doing things for myself, and they're like, wow. So
Yeah.
I actually, so I'm not going to name names, but I used to, because maybe some people are here that know these people, but um I used to work at a center. I was actually a volunteer there while I was getting my licensing hours, and I was working under a guy that happened to be a paraplegic, and he, you know, we got along really well. And then like years later, I saw him, and he said, he said, "Well, Larry, you know what? I got to tell you, when I first met you, I thought you were just totally in denial, but I see, man, you're the real deal."
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
Well,
cool.
and it was. I was talking to a friend of mine this morning, and we were just catching up, and they asked, about the show, or I said, yeah, I'll be on the show. What's the topic? I'm like, oh, we got a fun guy coming on. His name's Larry. Very energetic, kind of a hippie dude. Loves going to concerts, and that's and I think when Chad goes, "Hey, you got to meet this guy, Larry. He's got these hooks." I'm like, and I go, I know Larry, and I said, "Oh, you're talking about Crazy Larry," And I say crazy not in the sense that you're crazy, but just you enjoy life. You always have a smile on your
Totally, man.
face, and
Totally, man.
it's whatever you tackle, you know, you get through it day by day.
And Larry, you don't give a you're doing it. That's what I told you. I was texting the guys. I said let's ask Larry if he'll come on. We'll talk to Larry. Larry's riding around with them hooks on his hand. Larry doesn't give a flip what anybody thinks about him. He's doing Larry, man. It's good. It's good. Feels good. That's a good feeling. You vibe with Larry. It's good, good, good. Yeah, with them
Well,
damn
even
hooks.
even yeah,
Yeah, it's cool.
even like so I had a pressure sore back in 2012. You may remember this, Bobby, and I had a pressure sore back in 2012. And of course it, knocked me on my ass for a while, and I was out of commission. And I started I started going to I was made an inpatient like sometime in, I want to say, the end of November, beginning of December of 2012. And I was in St. Jude first and they did flap surgery actually, and then I went and did what do they call that when you're at some nursing home, care house in Tustin, um, while it was healing, and then I went back to St. Jude, and I had my iPad there, man, and let me tell you that when I when I was first injured, all I had was a stupid TV that was hanging from the ceiling, and that was it. And then four other grumpy grumpy people in the room, bitching and complaining. And so when I was doing the healing, then I had my iPad, man. It just helped me so much. I'm like, you know what? I'm stuck here in the hospital, but I'm gonna make the best of it. And so, like every day, I would like post a new little picture and say something crazy about oh my God, look at this nurse that came in, and it was the nurses from Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I made a little thing, and then another one was Nurse Ratchet from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And some people, and one person wrote to me privately, and they said, "Oh, I can't believe that. That's so rude. You should stop posting those things." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. Goodbye. Unfriend."
Yeah. Yeah.
You're lucky you had the TV on the ceiling. I had to wear these glasses. I think they're called prison glasses.
Yeah,
So
with the mirrors.
yeah,
Yeah.
when I was laying
Oh my
down in
God.
bed, because of the halo brace. Did you have a halo brace, Larry?
Halo. Yep, definitely
Yeah.
3 months.
Yeah, and so you can see the TV, so you can lay looking up, but then it projects to oh, I swear, I think
Yeah.
I screwed up my eyes.
Yeah. Well, when I was in, I said I was doing rehab, and there were 4 other people in the room. I didn't even bother with the TV. I just like
Yeah.
it. I had more important things to concern myself than watching TV, and I'm not really a TV watcher anyhow. So
Oh,
at least at that time. Now that you got like 18 million channels to choose from, it's a lot better. But at that time we had what 7 channels to choose from, right?
Yeah.
1988. Um. So yeah, and but yeah, my wife and I got this TV hanging from our ceiling. It's nice.
Larry, talk a little bit about technology and how it's changed from when you first broke your neck and
Holy
how.
crap!
Mhm.
Holy crap! I think about that every day. Every day, I'm just so blown away by how much we have access to now. And I think back then in 1988, and I was actually gonna bring this up at CASA, they had a computer lab. And their computer lab was an Apple II computer. Who remembers Apple II computers?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like in what, fifth grade or seventh grade?
So I was actually an Apple guy, so I was cool with that. But and I had an Apple computer at home. But seriously, I mean, you think about it, okay? These kids these days, they don't understand what they have. Being able to carry around a whole computer lab in your pocket, whereas back in the day we had to change discs. Remember changing discs, Bobby? And
Oh yeah.
remember how to, remember
Yeah.
that changing the floppy disks,
The floppy
and
disk.
that was like impossible to do. And just so you didn't have easy access to information at that point. And really, the only information I had access to about my spinal cord injury was, well, it wasn't called New Mobility at the time. It was called Spinal Network. Actually, Paraplegia News. Okay.
Mhm.
And then Paraplegia News kind of, switched off to Spinal Network. And then Spinal Network, they put out a thick 300-page book with just all the information you need to know about being spinal cord injured but we're afraid to ask, kind of thing. And that was my information. That was my world. And
Yeah, no,
nowadays, you need information, you can search on Google. And nowadays, you can even like talk to ChatGPT and get the answer.
oh, it
I
breaks it
like,
down for
I
you like to a T
what was
nowadays.
that?
It breaks it down to a T,
Oh my God.
with that, and just gets you precise what you need. You don't even have to Google things and go to the next page. Like, nope, that's not what it was.
I see people on Facebook all the time. They go, "Hey, where can I get a this in Oklahoma?" I'm like, and I go to Google and I type in Oklahoma, whatever it is they want. I go, "Here, look it up."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's the old give a man a fish, or give a person a fish, you feed them for a day. Teach a person a fish, and you feed them for a lifetime.
Yeah.
And as they use the tools, it's
Yeah.
amazing. So just the access to technology, and then like just like things like working TVs, okay, um, things like
The light
God,
switch.
vehicles. When I
Yeah.
was when I was being discharged from Casa Clina, um, Jim Wickersham was there. He was the adaptive. He was one of the OT guys, and he also ran their adaptive program. They had one vehicle. It was a 40 Econoline or something like that, some big hunking vehicle, and they had one type of steering wheel and gas brake to use. And he took me out, and I failed, and they're like, "Okay, you can't drive." And that was it. So I was pretty much, stuck for the 3 years or 4 years until I was a client of the Department of Rehabilitation, and they hooked me up with Rancho Los Amigos. And Rancho Los Amigos has their driver mobility program through the Department of Rehab. And they took me out in one of their vehicles. It was the. Do you guys remember the Wells Zinberg?
No.
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 Okay. It was. It was. It was kind of what the Minox is now. It was like the predecessor of the Minox, and it was like a trough that you would put your arm down on, and you could push forward for the gas, you pull back for brake, one or the other way, and then you turn your hand left to turn the
Oh
steering
no,
wheel, you turn your hand right.
that was the Scott
That
system.
was the Scott.
Scott system. Well, when I was there, they called it the Welsenberg, but maybe it was the Scott system. But yeah, and um, oh God, what was her name? Kathy Bobbitt was the instructor there, and then Norm Simos was also one of the guys there, and they she took me out for a test drive on this thing, and I was doing okay, and then she took me in a little gravel parking lot or little dirt patch, and she said, "Okay, start turning," and I started turning. She was like making me do donuts, and all of a sudden it set off a spasm in my body, and I'm spasming, and she she stopped the vehicle and she said, "Yeah, you'll never drive," and so they failed me. So that was in 1994, and then I kind of like gave up for a while, and then finally a friend had gotten a vehicle, and I went into his vehicle, and I just like, and he had an actual steering wheel, and I tried his steering wheel. I said I could do this, and that's what set me off to figure out a vehicle. So the technology in vehicles is just so amazing now. And I just
Leonard,
recently
what?
got
Yeah.
a 2000. What?
No, finish. Go ahead and finish. I got a question.
I just recently got a 2024 Chrysler Pacifica with Paravan system, and I've also got the Minox system modified by Junior at Driving Systems Incorporated. Shout out Junior if anybody knows him. He's amazing. And and then it's got the Golden Boy steering equipment, and the thing just drives so beautifully. My last one before that was 2007, and I had so many problems with that thing.
So your new one, just what's ballpark? How much out the door?
So I paid personally 54 or something like that for the vehicle. I just had to pay for the what do they call it, the OEM or the
Mhm.
base model,
The
and
vehicle
then
itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and then DR paid for everything else after that because I see people saying, "How can I get a vehicle?" And people say, "Oh, ask Department Rehab." Department Rehab does not just give vehicles to people; they make
Mhm.
you work for it. My first
Yeah.
vehicle, okay, it took a long time, and they didn't even help me with my first vehicle. I had to pay for that on my own. My second vehicle, my third vehicle, I had to pay for my own. Then I got, then I was finally getting a job, and they agreed to help me with that vehicle, the fourth one, and then this one, because I was going back to school after I, had been working at the, hey, there's somebody, Jim Wickersham, cool, um, and so I'm working at the library, and transportation's difficult, and I didn't have my vehicle at the time because the previous one had been in an accident due to equipment malfunction.
That's my question. Like, were you the one that was on the freeway in the carpool lane going like 90 miles an hour and had to slam into
I was not going. Okay, I was not going 90 miles an hour. I was going 65 miles an hour.
65?
Driving my. I. Do you want me to say 67? Does that make you happy?
There you go. There you go.
Anyhow, so the van was 2.5 months old. I had just picked up my parents from the airport, and I was driving them back on the 405. Any of Southern California residents know the 405 can be not much fun at times. And sure enough, on a Saturday early evening, it was about 6 o'clock or 5:30 or something like that. There was a traffic jam, and so I'm like, okay, let me put on the brake, and I'm putting on the brake, and nothing's happening.
Oh man.
And the name of the equipment shall go nameless because I'll let it talk about them, but we'll just say that um, the brakes didn't work, and I had no choice but to swerve over to the left and hit the cement barrier. And I wasn't able to. It was very difficult, like finding out what happened because there's nobody to analyze this stuff. So it was a arduous 2 or 3 years until I got the new vehicle.
Mm.
But
I was in a vehicle accident. Well, I avoided it. My same kind of deal. I had given it gas, and the throttle stuck. I had an EMC unit where you'd give gas and brake. It was all electrical, and something haywired in that EMC unit, and I gave it gas, and then it wouldn't stop. I couldn't get it to stop, and I never really came off my tri-pins before. You got a tri-pin on the steering wheel and one in my EMC gas and brake, and um, I just chanced it and came out of that EMC and threw it up into park, and it went and stopped. But it freaked me out. I mean, it
Wow.
humbled me in a lot of ways. I didn't crash it though, but yeah, scary.
Yeah. I remember reading a story about some guy that was in a vehicle, and it went down like a grassy knoll, or a hill or something like that, and ejected him from the vehicle, and he was like laying there, and just by luck he was able to get his phone and text to somebody with his knuckle, "Hey, help me."
Mhm. Yeah.
Wow.
no,
Some
and
story.
there's many horror band stories out there with hand controls. I know you know the name, but I'm not going to say it, Larry. But this person had parked in the parking lot of a handicapped spot, and they thought she was in park, but I guess she might have been still in drive. I'm not really sure. And she basically accidentally hit the gas where it took her van up onto the handicap parking site, launched herself right on top of another car.
Holy crap. Well,
They're out there.
Wow.
There's
if
lots of
you
them.
if you can get manual controls, those are optimal. And manual
Yeah.
controls that are set up correctly, those are the
Keep it
best.
simple.
Avoid computers, avoid electronics, because we all know what happens with our computers. Oh my God, my computer crashed. How many times does that happen? You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But not when you're
Yeah.
doing 70 on the highway, right?
What was that?
So not
All
when
I've
you're
ever
doing
used is
70 on the
manual.
highway.
Hmm.
Go ahead, Paul. All I've ever used is the manual hand controls, the Monarch. So they're not, no electronics involved at all. The only issue I've ever had is a spasm where my foot jumped up onto the gas and launched me forward a little bit, but I was able to get it off quick. So didn't cause any. It could have caused some serious issues, but it didn't. But the manual ones I've never had a problem with. I've been using those since '84, and they haven't changed. Exactly, look exactly the same as they did in 1984. So they work.
Are we going to be able to read these comments later? Because Cody's got a
Yeah,
funny
they'll
one.
be up for the for 24 hours after,
Oh,
so
cool.
you can
Cool.
read them. So we got about 20 minutes left, Larry, but we got to get into what makes Larry, and everybody knows Larry. And when I was telling a couple people who we have coming on, there's one unique style about yourself that you're pretty well known for, that most people don't use, and we keep seeing it come up. So I don't know if you want to talk about your brace, your hooks, your Captain
Oh,
Hook. You're not really I would more call you Captain Hook than Dr. Larry. But tell us a little bit about yourself with the hooks and how that all came about. Because yeah,
yeah.
as a C56 quad, we have a tough time picking up things, moving things, and but you're pretty unique because I don't think I've ever seen anybody else use them all day like you do.
Yeah. So, can you see that? These, there it is. These, whoa, I keep moving away.
There
There
you
you go.
are.
It's hard. It's hard because it's right, left, and I'm moving right,
Yeah.
left, and yeah. These are my fingers. I'm not holding them in a fist or anything like that. Those are my fingers, okay? And so I can't use them at all, and they're permanently curled. Um, so when I was in rehab at Casa Colina, um, there was a orthotic guy across the street, Jan, and they got me connected with him. One second. I use my teeth a lot, as I imagine you guys do too.
Well, that's
And he
what do you call a quad with no teeth, Larry?
uh, disabled.
Dead.
Oh, yeah. So anyhow, he hooked me up with similar braces to like this. They were made out of aluminum, and they had both sides had a little platform on them, and he made me like a slew of maybe like 10 forks. He made me 10 spoons. He made me 3 knives, and all these had little slits in the center of the handle that I could slit into this platform on the brace and feed myself with. And then he also made a couple of these things, which were essentially typing sticks. So I type with them, and when I want to eat, take them off and put on a fork, feed myself. I never cut up food on my own because I just didn't. So I never used the knives. And I found myself, I would carry them around with me and use them when I needed to use them. Like if I was going to type, I use them. If I was going to eat, I use them. And I take them off and I put on. When I got out of the hospital, they gave me cock up gloves. You guys know what that is?
No.
No.
It's kind of like a leather glove, and then it has a wide spoon in it that would hold my hand straight rather than sitting
Oh,
hanging down, limp.
they're tan, right? The
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
Okay, I've seen them.
And I mean, they've got those things that you could buy. They made them for me for whatever reason, but now you can just buy them on the market. And so I would wear those things, and they had like a patch on them for pushing, because at the time they gave me a manual chair and they also gave me an electric chair, but I found myself using the electric chair more often than using the manual chair because I was a sitting duck in the manual chair. And So I'd carry around the braces with me, and then I just found myself using the braces more and more, and using the typing sticks. And I was finding myself, I'm able to type with them. I'm able to push buttons with them. And then because they were made out of aluminum, they kept bending and breaking. So I finally found an orthotic guy, and I was talking with him, and I said, "Hey, you know what? Could you make me braces that are like this, but out of a material that's not going to break? So it's carbon fiber. Um, put these things on permanently, and then when I want to feed myself, there's a little slit there for a fork or a spoon. And then I don't need to carry around my own fork and spoon like I had to with the other one. And I can use whatever fork or spoon is at the restaurant I go to." And so he made them for me, and the other ones they had leather straps, and this one has, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it has lift the dot. Those are like little snap things. You can go online and buy them, liftthedot.com, and I can easily unsnap it and snap it in. And it never loses its strength. So it doesn't stretch out over time. It stays the same elasticity. Velcro would wear out after a while too, so
Yeah.
that's why I didn't want to use the Velcro. And these things just, I find myself using them for everything. Eventually, when touchscreens came around and touch pads, I was using a stylus at first, and I'd wedge the stylus between my fingers, and I was finding myself not able to like see what I was typing on the screen. So I did all sorts of research to find out what would be usable on the tips. The first thing I used actually was a Scotch-Brite sponge dried out, because the yellow part of a Scotch-Brite sponge that's dried out is conductive. Swear to God, try it out. And but those would become wet and expand, and then they were useless. And then I would cover them with rubber gloves, vinyl gloves, and that worked for a while. And then finally, I found these stylus tips. You could buy them like a dime a dozen now online.
Yeah.
And I talked with my orthotic guy, and he shout out to Chad Marquis if anybody knows him at Prosthetics and Orthotics Group in Mission Viejo. He's awesome. And then I found that the stylus tips were wearing out real quickly. So I was thinking, God, I got to cover them with something. And I found a crafter online that made conductive tape. So I could literally, well, you can't see it, but I go like that on the. Can you see my touchpad?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I'm moving the mouse around right now with my touchpad, and
Wow.
it works on iPhone screens. It works on my iPad.
And so the hooks never come off, right?
Nope, these are permanent unless they break. At which point, I need to get them fixed. But yeah,
You have an
these
extra
are my
set.
daily drivers. I do have an extra set right now. They're in the shop, and Chad's improving on them. And I've so along the way, I was thinking, God, I gotta find some way to like mass market these. But I've never actually been able to like find the person that says, "Hey, I can help you with that."
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it would be your orthotic guy.
Yeah, but he's got his own stuff he's doing. He's kind of, said, "Oh yeah, I'm interested," but we've never actually like sat down and done something about it. I did find a grant that said that if I could like, if I had a good idea that they would, give me money, and I've asked them to, come up with some kind of estimate about how much it would be, and then I would write out something to the grant and try it out.
Um, I know, like, so what are you said typing your phone, but it seemed like when we saw you last at the expo, you were picking up everything. Like, how do you were getting in your bag, you had straps, I mean, tell us a little bit of like,
I've got I've got a suitcase size laptop case that holds my laptop. I don't know how 20 pounds, whatever, or 15 pounds. My iPad was in there, and my iPods or iMac, the big ones, whatever they're called, iPods Max. Um, and so it was kind of heavy, and it dropped on the ground, and I was able to pick it up with one of these. So they're pretty strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything that somebody would need to use a finger for, I could do with them.
How's the fork go in there? Does it snap in on that side?
No, it slides in. See, there's a little slit there.
Uh-huh.
Can you see that, or is it too dark?
Yeah, I see it.
No, you
And
can
then
see
so
it.
the hook just stays there. The aluminum
The
hook
what?
stays there, and you're able to put the.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the hook's right there,
Uh, oh.
and it gets out of
Yeah,
the way when
I
I'm
do. I use these gloves, and I do similar with just a pin or that kind of thing. But yeah, that's great. That's good, good, good.
yeah. When I'm using a pen, I just slide it through my fingers.
And so you've
And
never been.
pe-
Go ahead.
people always want to hand me pens with the pen actually out, so I end up like writing on my pinky when I'm getting it in.
No, that's just when somebody hands you a pin with the lid still on it, and you're like, "Here, you want me to take it off with my mouth, or do you want to take it off?"
Yeah.
Or they flip it around and put it on the back, on the other end, and I stick mine in my glove, so it's like, no, it's gonna keep that. I don't need the lid on it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So go
I
ahead.
use two pencils. I use two pencils to type with, and people think they're being really nice when they sharpen my pencils, and it's like, no, don't sharpen.
Yeah, so there was a time when I tried the pencils with typing, and that works sort of, but I mean, it's only
I
so much
put
you can do
rubber.
because it's so flimsy. Whereas these are really strong.
I put rubber dip on them mine, so they kind
So
of stick.
do you have tenodesis in your wrist?
Little bit.
Yeah,
Not
I got
much.
none of that.
So I weave them between my fingers like that.
Okay.
It kind of works. I don't know.
Do you have tenonesis, Larry, or no?
Well, here, let's see. Nah,
Uh-huh.
not really.
Very little. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
I
one.
find myself cheating a lot. Oh, sorry.
Let's see here. I got one this one's my left strong, and then the right is like yours a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, keeping does
I
and
find
that the hook allows your wrist to stay straight, pretty much. Gives it some
yeah,
support. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. I find myself cheating a lot and just using voice input or Siri because it's just
Yeah.
so easy these days. But then again, it gets it wrong a lot of times. That's why I try and like correct mine before I send it out. But that's another thing, man. Another thing with technology. You guys are old enough to remember Drag and Dictate, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
that
Or
was
even before Dragon, even before
before
Dragon, there were other things, and they were just so basic and did not do
They did
nearly
not
as
like
much as.
male voices. Like my voice, it wouldn't pick it up at all. But a
Oh
female
wow.
voice it worked a little bit. But male voice, forget it. Back in the
It was that
early,
Canadian accent,
as a Canadian accent,
eh?
actually, as a Canadian accent. Didn't know how to spell A.
So
Larry, the little
when I
dot.
was
What were those little dots called? The little magnetic or snap dots. What did you call that on your splint?
lift
Uh,
the dot,
lift.
liftthedot.com.
The dot.
That's a cool deal. I've never seen that before.
Yeah. Oh, they're great, man. Seriously, you can get them on lots of things, but they're really good because they have this little like don't want to call it a wire, but it's like a bendable metal piece that it's got a little post in it, and it stretches just enough, and then when you get it over the thing, it snaps back and it like hugs itself around it.
I've
Yeah.
seen those on like leather pieces to go over a bed of a truck. You pull it real tight and you snap it.
Yeah. The tonneau cover.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could buy them individually like that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
And are you
I
able
think
to
Go on, go ahead.
reach down on the ground and pick up things that you drop?
Okay, so underneath so I'm wearing a sweater right now, but I wear a chest strap at all times with a seatbelt on it, because I don't know about you guys, but I don't have like a lot of trunk control, and if I bend over just a little bit too much, I'm losing it, man, and I'm falling over. Actually, so there was a funny story. My parents were leaving for a weekend, and they were leaving me, not home alone, but my sister was going to come stay with me, but she wasn't there yet. So I was like in the house alone, and my cousin was coming to visit me, and um, and I wasn't wearing my chest strap at the time because I just I thought, oh, that's kind of gimpy, and I don't want to look like that, so let me just ride around because I'm cool. And I forget what it was, but I was leaving my bedroom and going into the hallway, and for some reason, when I went through that threshold, I like fell forward, and I was like, I'd fallen forward, my head was between my knees, and I couldn't do a thing, and I
Oh
was
man.
laying like that for and I was like that for about an hour,
Did you have
and
trouble breathing?
um, not like maybe like 70% reduced breathing,
Because I've heard
which
of
that.
somebody passing away because of that. A
Wow, yeah,
gentleman fell
well,
forward like that at a little bit higher quad R level, and just because it it's pressure on our stomach, that's where we're breathing from. We're not chest breathers. It's more in our abs. And so when he was stuck after a certain amount of time, he had passed away.
well,
Did
to
it
put
freak
some
you out,
levity,
Larry?
what was that?
Did it freak you out? Or did you freak out? Just
Well,
scared?
so I knew that my cousin was coming, and I knew that the door was open. So there was that. Um, the bathroom door was open, and the window was open, and I was like calling to my neighbor for help, but I was just throwing
Yeah.
it out there. I did not
Oh,
really talk to my neighbor at all, but it's like maybe they'll hear me, screaming help. Um,
yeah.
but to throw some levity into the video cast, so my face was down there between my legs, just the perfect position, and pushing on my stomach, and I had a little bit of gas too. So it was the perfect position for that.
Yeah.
And
Bad
I
situation
mean,
all the way around.
it happens, man. When you're not in control, man, it happens.
Well,
Well, we got Eric, and we're gonna have to bring Eric on, and
Oh, hey, Eric.
yeah, you know
I know
Eric
Eric.
Saint Amant.
He stalks me. He stalks me in here in Tustin.
So
Ken
Eric
wants,
is asking.
Ken wants to hear more about the dragon dictate. He wants you to finish the story.
Oh, well, when Siri came out, it was just cheaper, and I never actually once it was coming to me for free, I just threw away Dragon Dictate because I don't. I find myself typing a lot more than using voice input to even like to write things.
I do
So when
too.
I was getting my doctorate and I had to write my dissertation, um, somebody told me, hey, you should, I was telling them I use a Mac, and they said, oh wow, you could convince the Department of Rehabilitation to buy you a new laptop with with voice input. I said, really? And they said, yeah. So I asked the Department of Rehab. I said, "Look, I'm writing my dissertation," and I convinced them to get me a new Mac laptop. Even though they didn't like Macs at the time, they said that we're gonna buy you a PC because they're cheaper. But somehow I convinced them to get me a Mac because I'm like, well, I'm a Mac user, and it wasn't Dragon Dictate, but it was IBM, Via Voice, whatever that was. And that thing was hokey. Via Voice was real. So I use it a little bit, but I like typing. I like doing as much as I can that I can rather than kind of cheating. But like I said, I find myself cheating every now and then.
And is it really cheating?
I know it's not cheating, but to me, it's yeah.
No, the worst is after you dictate something, hit send, and then you're like, "Whoa, I didn't. That's not what I was."
I know.
Absolutely. Well, um, we're about at our hour here.
God, that
Robert,
goes
you
by
want
fast.
to talk a little bit about our sponsors?
Sure, sure, sure. Let's thank our sponsors that help support Live to Roll, mobility professionals and urology professionals. Contact mobility professionals if you're in need of a wheelchair or any other DME equipment. Mobility Professionals services the Southern California region. So contact them if you're looking for a company that is part of our community and understands our needs. Their sister company, Urology Professionals, can help you with your catheter needs. They service nationally, so wherever you're at in the country and in need of urology supplies, give urology professionals a call. And thanks to mobility professionals and urology professionals for all their help. Bobby.
Is it cool to give an endorsement for mobility professionals?
Yeah.
Sure, sure.
They're awesome. They're awesome. I love them so much. They're the
Good.
best. Absolute best. Absolute best. I hear about people griping about that other company that's here in Orange County. I've never had to use them, but I love mobility professionals. They're great.
Yeah.
And I just
Good
got a
group of
call yesterday that my new chair is coming in 3 weeks.
Nice.
good deal. Yeah, they're a good group of experts there, good team, and they make you feel like family there. It's good.
Oh yeah, totally, totally. They're great.
Wow, Lewis, I'm glad Lewis had one of those, and glad you made it out okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, any last words you want to say, other than endorsing our sponsor, which thank you very much. That was good.
No, it was great. I enjoyed talking with you guys. It's real nice to share my experience,
Yeah.
and I'm happy to come on any other time too.
Well, that's great.
Nice.
All right. With that, I hope everyone has a nice weekend. Sean and I are going to be back on Tuesday, so catch us live on Tuesday. I don't know what Sean has planned for next Thursday, so it'll be a mystery show, and and we'll be back in 2 weeks. So everybody enjoy tonight because the NFL schedule launches tonight. So get on YouTube and check out your favorite football team and see what the schedule looks like. With that, everyone, live to roll.
Live to roll.
Nice to meet you.